We're back in the garage after 2 weeks of riding mountain bikes out in New Hampshire. Now I've got the Chevy bow tie heads that were for the race motor, all done up by Gellner Engineering out of Cleveland, Ohio. He got it done within one of the weeks that I was gone. Did a super good job. They're sitting right over here. Nice valve job on them. He decked them, media blasted them, installed brand new valves, valve guides, and set the installed height for the springs and everything. So we've got a lot of work. I'm going to push the truck out right now, pull the tilt front end off, strip it back down because we have the stock block in there, and then bring it back inside and start stripping parts off of that block, putting them on the race motor so that we can get this in the truck and finally get this thing running. So we've got pretty much the whole front dress put back on. You've seen me bolt on the water pump and the alternator. Went to put my new harmonic balancer on. This one is an 8-inch balancer. The one that's on the stock motor that's in the truck is 6. So I ran into needing a new timing indicator, which we luckily had one upstairs. Next thing I'm running into is this brand new Power Master alternator and bracket kit that I bought. You can see right here isn't lining up real good, so I'm gonna have to take away some of the material on this so it clears the 8-inch balancer. Then we can get this mounted up, and then we got the whole front dress, the belt put on, and then we'll put the heads on. With the bracket all bolted up, you can see right here where it's gonna have to be ground down just a little bit so it'll clear, and we'll get her bolted on. You can see here the bracket's now got the curve in it for the 8-inch balancer. It's a little rough cut, so I'm just going to take some high grit sandpaper and sand this down nice and smooth, and then hit it with a polisher so it looks brand new. Got the bracket all polished up. Can't even tell anything happened to it. Now this fits right on there perfect with the balancer. So we'll bolt this up and I'll show you guys how close it is. See, we've got the whole front dress on the motor, belt on. Yeah, you probably saw in the video I was kind of wrestling it. I ended up just taking this pulley off the water pump, putting the belt on, and then sliding it back on, just because I've got everything such a tight tolerance, which I'll show you in a second, and everything fits really good. So with the 8-inch balancer on there, now we're ready to move on to the heads. UPS guy just came and dropped off some new gaskets, rocker arm studs, all for these heads that Mr. Dean Gellner did for me over at Gellner Engineering in Cleveland, Ohio. Super cool dude. If you ever need any parts or any motor questions, any machining work, anything like that, hit him up. He did a fantastic job on it and fast turnaround rate too. So big shout out to Gellner Engineering here. So here we go. First step, we're going to be putting these rocker studs in to the new Chevy bow tie heads. Well, they're not new, they're old, but revamped. Put those in, and then we're going to check for push rod length. That way we can set it all up, and then do our piston and valve check one more time with these new valves in these heads for these dome pistons here on the race motor. And then we should be able to bolt the heads on for good, You got the intake sitting over here on the cart, looking all pretty, all stacked up and bolted together, ready to go. Then we can get this thing put in the truck and hopefully fire it up. So I've got the push rod guide plates put on with the new rocker studs. So now we're going to go ahead and torque these down to 55 foot-pounds. Went ahead and got this head on the driver's side of the motor. A couple push rods sent through into the roller rockers there. Now we're going to check for the push rod length, make sure that's good with the new valves that are in here, and then we'll do our piston to valve check after that. So we just figured out our push rod length. Now we're going to go ahead and pop this head back off, and we're going to do the clay method to check the piston and valve clearance. Driver. Alright, today we're out here playing with clay in the garage. Sticking all over the place. So you just put 2 balls of clay on there. That might be a little too big. I'll take a little bit out of that. A little too big. We got 1 ball of clay. 2 ball of clay. And they say roll her around a little. Get it down in there. Then you gotta take some lube. Now that we've got the clay down in there, we're gonna spray a little lube on the valves so that it doesn't stick to the valves when it pushes it down. And we'll put the head back on. We're gonna roll this thing over and see what we're working with now. Make sure it's in there. Good. That was kind of hard to push. It scared me for a second. Smashing the balls of clay in there. This is our second go around here at the clay. We put a little bit more oil on the back side of the valves and then kind of press the clay onto the piston, so hopefully it stuck.
There we go. Look at that.
Look at that. That's exactly what we wanted to see.
I cut him with 1 arm here.
Dad busted himself up at the bike park with me last week, so he's looking a little nimble.
About 216, and we needed 80, and then on the exhaust we need to be at what, at least 100, and we're at 233. So
plenty of clearance. That's what we wanted to hear. So we can go ahead and get these heads painted up nice and gold, and then we're going to put these things on. for sore eyes. We got some heads on the race motor finally. Front dress is on. We set the intake on here. We're gonna have to get a little bit thinner gasket for the runners to line up to the heads. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the motor in the truck tomorrow and get the race motor setting in there. And we're just waiting for a couple more parts and should be able to slap that together and have this thing running for the next episode. So always, thanks for watching, and fingers crossed we got this thing running in the next episode.